Animals have been studied since the ancient Greeks to advance our knowledge. Also, what you have to see is that analogy cannot simply serve as proof. Because you look to this quote from Louis Pasteur that you're going to want about opposition in this debate round. Opposition. So I'd like to agree with Louis Pasteur that simply making an observation doesn't destroy its validity, that we should and could not take this testing away from our nation. Our freedom to gain knowledge of the medical substances and equipment we are placing into our public would be lost. Therefore, I stand in firm opposition of the resolution resolved. The United States government should ban all testing that requires the use of animals. For today's debate, I would like to offer a definition from the Merriam-Webster's dictionary for my opponent and my judge to clearly understand what the resolution is asking. The word all, although actually small in letters, it means everything, the whole amount, quantity, or extent of. Now, this leads me to my contention 1. Experimentation for and with animals has and will continue to provide a positive effect on the medical field. Subpoint A, animal testing has cured diseases and will continue to do so. Animal research has played a vital role in virtually every major medical advance of the last century, where both human and animal benefit, from antibiotics to blood transfusions, from dialysis to organ transplantations, from vaccinations to chemotherapy, bypass surgery, and joint replacement. Practically every present-day protocol for the prevention, cure, treatment, and control of a disease, pain, and suffering is based on knowledge attained through animal research. Thanks to animal research, many diseases that once killed millions of people each year are either treatable or have been eradicated altogether. Immunizations against animal polio, mumps, rubella, and hepatitis save countless animal lives and human lives in accompaniment, as in the survival rates for these major diseases are at an all-time high. Thanks to the discovery of new drugs, medical devices, and surgical procedures, also according to the American Cancer Society, the fight against cancer has seen 24 significant biomedical advances in the last 30 years thanks to animals. You're going to see all the benefits later. Now, you look to my next contention, which is contention 2. Animal research also benefits the animals. Animal research for animal health has also resulted in many life-saving and life-extending treatments for cats, dogs, farm animals, wildlife, and endangered species. Pacemakers, artificial joints, organ transplants, and freedom from arthritic pain have all been new treatments because of animal treatments that have extended and enhanced the lives of our beloved pets. So we got to see is this beloved pet argument is going to fall on my side. And 2 new reproductive techniques are helping to protect threatened species. To eliminate all testing would defile the medical field and create a breeding ground for debauchery and roil, harming animals as humans as well. Now, look to my contention 3. Human lives outweigh those of animal lives. Human beings are creatures that have capacities and sensibilities that are much more highly developed than that of animals. Because humans are more highly developed, their welfare always counts for more than that of an animal. If a firefighter had to choose between saving a drowning baby and saving a drowning rat, he would surely save the baby. But why? Because humans have recognized that they are the most advanced species. Humans are not simply on a moral equal with other creatures of this planet. What we have to see is that humans are simply more morally superior. Now, this resolution clearly states that we, as a nation, should stop all testing. Like I said earlier, this includes other animals that we do not classify under the test mammalia. So we have to see all testing. In conclusion, we're going to see to take away all testing is going to harm the United States. My opponent likely brings up costs, and he will bring up costs. And we see in this case, these costs are only going to increase if you look to the cancellation of medical programs, because this is going to harm the United States. Now, I'm turning gears looking at my opponent's case. He talks about in the beginning of his case, since animals can't rationalize their pain, their life becomes this. Now, this is a fallacy, is synthesis and composition. Just because one thing happened will not lead to an ultimate fruition of other things happening. Now, he also goes to talk about how the most common form of toxicity test is the 50% test. But what you're going to see is that, and then he also talks about how only 65% of this is accurate. But if 65% is inaccurate, what you have to see is that 35% then becomes accurate. Now, you can't simply throw out this 35% benefit because it not only doesn't achieve my opponent's burden as far as achieving full solvency and removing all animal testing. We see that there is going to be some benefits. My opponent agrees with this in this point. He talks about the utilitarianism standpoint. I've shown throughout my case that animals are going to be benefited as well through these testings. Not all testings are harmful and cruel as my opponent would like you to believe. Simply removing all testing would harm the majority. It's going to harm the animals and the humans, where if you leave it in, it's going to see benefits for both. When my opponent talks about this computer programming, this is going to cost more and not going to provide as much benefits to the animals because it's not going to be doing a good a job as modeling what an animal model is going to be. He talks about how animal testing isn't accurate. He talks about how he's negating testing. We have to see we're not necessarily debating accuracy, but we're debating whether or not this accuracy is justifiable for removing all instances of animal rights. So what we have to see is that if to remove instances of animal rights, you're going to see that we're not debating accuracy, and to move all of this would sweep the rug out from underneath the medical field. And if you're going to do this, it's going to create a certain amount of harm that our medical field will not be able to rebound from. Simply, we've built our entire medical system. As he agrees, he talks about animal testing as being a precursor to human tests. If we simply remove this step, then the tests are going to be tested upon humans, and this is simply not the way it should be. Once you've agreed, you look to my firefighter example for this. If an individual is deliberating between saving a rat and a baby, they're going to pick the baby because humans are the most advanced species. We have to look to the majority of us over the animals.